I feel like everybody talks about forgiveness in terms of extending it to someone else that has wronged you. It could be a family member, a friend, or even a total stranger. But nobody or not enough people talk about how difficult forgiving your own self can be, especially after you've done something that goes against your morals, your values, your principles. You know those things you told yourself you would never do, and you've low-key been judging people that do those things. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Now, for me, one of the biggest lessons being an adult or adulthood, like I like to say, one of the biggest lessons adulthood has taught me is to never say never. Because I tell you, I feel like whenever I say I would never do something, all the forces in hell, all the demonic spirits, they come together, they conspire to put me in a position where I end up doing those things. And most times, I don't even know that okay, I'm now doing this. It's mostly after I've done it, I'm like, oh my god, this is something that I used to say I would never do, and now look at me. So these days I don't even say never, like never say never. Like I don't say I would never do anything. Instead, when I see things that I know deep in my heart that this is not something I want to do, I just start begging God. I'm like, Father Lord, please lead me not into temptation. Like anything that will make me do this thing, please take me away from it. Because when you say I would never do this, it feels like you're bragging, like you're depending on your own power. You trust yourself so much that you can never be caught doing this. Hey guys, my name is Debbie and you're welcome to my YouTube channel, Debbie's Eye. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, let me know what you think about it. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I know I've not been consistent, but I don't know, for some reasons, actually, I have like, if you ask me why I've not been filming, I have a bunch of excuses that I can give. Like, to me, I feel like the reason makes sense, but deep down, I know it's just an excuse. Like, either ways, I would have found a way to work around it. But to be honest, it's been filming has been very difficult for me because I work Mondays to Fridays, so the only days I have off are weekends, and most weekends I'm always traveling, or maybe I really just want to rest. So it's really been difficult filming. But that aside, I'm really happy to be here today talking to you guys. I know you've missed me. I missed you too. And if you did not miss me, doesn't change anything. I still miss you, so that's fine. So yeah, you guys are welcome to my YouTube channel. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about self-forgiveness. And as you guys know, there's always like a backstory to the things I decide to share with you guys on my channel. Like there's always a reason for everything I decide to talk about. Now for this one, a few months ago, I think about 2 3 months ago, like this is how like oh my god, I've anyways, a few months ago, I think about 2 months ago, I was on my way home to see my family. I work in a different state. My family is in a different state, and I love them so much. I don't know, being around my family makes me very happy. So I love to spend time with them. So I was on my way home to see my family, and I was just scrolling through social media. I can't really remember what app I was on, if it was Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, but I was scrolling through social media, and then I saw this post that reminded me of something that I did some months ago, like a long time ago. And I saw this post and I started crying because it took me back to the events that led me to doing that thing. And I was just thinking about it. It's something that I regret. It's something that I beat myself up for all the time. I hate the fact that I did it. I hate myself for doing it. So I just remembered and then I started crying. Mind you, I was in a vehicle with people, but lucky for me, I was just sitting by the side of the car, like close to the window. So I just turned my head to the side and I was crying. And this, like you guys, I'm the biggest crybaby. It can be embarrassing most times. Like I try to keep it in, but anyways, I was crying and it was really really embarrassing, and this went on for like 10 minutes till I was finally able to get a hold of myself, and then I stopped crying. And at that moment it dawned on me that I was yet to forgive myself for this thing. Now after it happened, I'm sorry, I wish I was it's still something that I hate myself for. So it's really difficult. I would have loved to share it, but I can't. I would have to keep let this be my secret. Let this be my secret. I can't share. But this is something that when it happened, I had actually prayed to God about it. I told God that I was sorry that I did this. I know I let him down. I know I let myself down. And I believe that God has forgiven me. But on my own end, I was yet to forgive myself. In fact, it didn't even dawn on me that I had to forgive myself for this thing for me to be able to move on from it. So, at that moment, it dawned on me that I hadn't forgiven myself for it. So I was like, okay, I think let me talk about self forgiveness on my channel, just in case you too, you're there's something you've done that's nagging on your conscience. You can't seem to get out of your head. So yeah, that's what we're talking about, self-forgiveness today. So the definition for forgiveness, it's quite simple. Like the word self-forgiveness on its own, it's self-explanatory. Like you don't need no complicated grammar. Self means just you, and then forgiveness is a deliberate decision. Now you can't define forgiveness without putting deliberate decision, because forgiveness is something you choose to do. Like you make a decision that I want to do this. So forgiveness is a deliberate Forgiveness is a deliberate decision to let go of feelings of anger, resentment, retribution after someone has wronged you. Now, why some people may find it easy to forgive others, forgiving themselves can be quite difficult. Me, you guys know, I would always tell you the truth. For me, I struggle with forgiveness generally. Forgiving people is difficult for me. Forgiving myself is equally, if not even more difficult for me. And that's just because I feel like when you want forgiveness for someone, there are certain things you must do, and that this is like the it sets the tone for forgiveness. You must do these things. First of all, you need to take responsibility for whatever it is that you did. You cannot be asking me to forgive you for offending me if you are not even willing to say, okay, yeah, I did this, like this is what I did. So you have to take responsibility for what you did. Secondly, you need to apologize, a genuine heartfelt apology. I'm sorry for insulting you. I'm sorry I raised my voice at you. Not I'm sorry if what I said made you angry. I feel like that's bullshit apology. If you're apologizing to me and you're telling me I'm sorry, if just carry that apology, just shove it up your ass. Do you understand? And also you need to make amends for whatever it is that you did. And most importantly, don't do it again, because the best form of apology is change behavior. So if you're not going to change, if you're not going to stop doing whatever it is you are doing, there is no point apologizing. So I feel like if you're apologizing to me and you don't come with all of this, you're not ready, you're not serious. So it makes it very difficult for me to forgive you. But these days, as an adult, another lesson adulthood has taught me is that forgiveness is not always for the other person. Most times it's for yourself. So I'm actually praying to God and like, God, please help me to be more forgiving, because there are people who would offend you and they don't even know they offended you, or maybe they even know they offended you, but they don't understand the extent of the damage. Like they just don't get it. And me, I'm not always going to if I feel like you don't get it, like the fact that you don't get it pisses me off more. So I may not always want to sit down and say, okay, you did this, you did that, you did this. So yeah, I'm just praying to God to help me be more forgiving. But generally, I struggle with forgiveness. But mostly, just like me and some other people, when you offend them and you want them to forgive you and you do all of this, don't skip a step. All four or three steps, they are all equally important, so you can't even skip one. None is more important than the other. So when you do this, it sets the tone for forgiveness, and it makes it easier for them to consider forgiving you, or to even just forgive you. So while but like when it comes to forgiving others, like basically this is the formula, the beginning part of everything. But when you have to forgive yourself, it's more complicated than that. Because, first of all, to start with, nobody comes to you to say, I'm sorry. It's up to you to apologize to yourself for what you did. And secondly, I feel like it takes a certain amount of self awareness that not everybody has that level of self-awareness for you to sit down and say, oh, I was wrong for this, I shouldn't have done this. Not everybody. Some people, they are so proud, they don't even there are people that are so proud that they don't even know how to admit their faults to their own selves, talk more of to admit their faults to someone else. So you have to be like really humble and really self-aware for you to have that conversation with yourself and say, oh, I fucked up, I shouldn't have done this, I was wrong for this, I should not have said this, all of that. And this admission that you did something that you were not supposed to do, it opens you up to so many negative feelings that you may or may not be prepared for. I believe that everybody, we all have something that we can't seem to forgive ourselves for. It could be that time you cheated in a relationship. It could be the big fat lie that you told that still nags on your conscience. It could be the time you spilled a secret that was not yours to share. Whatever it is that you did, you constantly think about it. You are filled with so much regret, and it brings you pain and sadness. And it's even more difficult. It's worse, like when you have to live with the consequence of your actions. Like you did this thing and then you have to live with it. With my own thing, I have to live with the consequence of my actions. Like every day, it's there in front of my face that I did whatever it is you did. You still think about it. You've called yourself all the ugly names. You're a liar, you're a cheat, you're this, you're that, and you don't know when or if you ever be able to forgive. So I want you and me to know this, because I'm definitely talking to myself. Like I said, this is self-forgiveness is something that I struggle with all the time. So I want us to know that holding on to past negative events, it does more harm than good. Because there are times when I felt like withholding forgiveness from myself, it means that I'm more sorry, and that it's a kind of punishment I deserved. I mean, I did this really terrible thing. So the least I can do is to be sad for the rest of my life. But come on, let's be honest. Nobody wants to be sad for the rest of their life. Nobody wants to carry the burden of something they cannot change. Because no matter how sad I get, no matter the number of times I cry over this thing, like I can't change the fact that I did this. There's literally nothing that I can do to take it away. So the only thing I'm doing to myself is I'm increasing my stress level. My mental health is in shambles, because there are times where I could be happy, I could be with friends having the time of my life, and then I remember this thing that I did months ago that I'm supposed to have grown from, learned lessons from, and I'm filled with so much resentment. I become so sad. I feel like I'm the most terrible person on earth. Like this one bad thing I did has now cancelled all the good parts of me. So even though self-forgiveness is more complicated compared to forgiving others, I still feel like it follows the same principles of taking responsibility, apologizing to yourself, making amends. Because if you've been trying to justify your actions, trying to look for excuses, I'm here to tell you that it's time to take responsibility for what you did. My own case, when I did my thing, initially I was really, really like disappointed with myself. And then I spoke to a friend of mine about it. I was like, oh, I did this, I feel bad. And I don't know if maybe she was trying to like make me feel better, or if she genuinely felt like it wasn't a big deal. But she basically told me that it wasn't a big deal, that it's a normal thing, don't worry about it, you didn't do anything wrong, you made the right decision. And initially I held on to that because it was all I had. This is somebody I love and I respect so much. Like I respect her opinion, and it's like, okay. So I tried to accept it, and I was like, okay, like maybe it's really not a big deal and I'm just being too hard on myself. But that did not last long, because no matter how much I tried to run away from it, it did not change the fact that this is not something I would normally do. This goes against everything that I stand for. It goes against the woman that I am trying to be. So if you've been trying to, run away from what you did, trying to justify your actions, looking for excuses here and there, it's time for you to sit down, have like a really honest conversation with yourself. I love to talk to myself, and I think that's even one of the reasons why I have a YouTube channel, because most times the things I talk about here are things that I want to tell someone, but I just can't. Although I have friends, I have people that I can talk to that listen to me, but for some reason, these are like really, really personal things. It's difficult for me to like most no nobody really gets it, that okay, I did this thing a long time ago and I can't get it out of my head. So I think that's one of the reasons why I have a YouTube channel. Like it just gives me this opportunity to tell someone what is going on with me. So, as I was saying, if you've been running away from whatever it is that you did or did not do, whichever the case may be, it's time for you to sit down, take responsibility for whatever it is that you did. You need to apologize to yourself. When I did my thing, because the thing is, first of all, admitting that you did this thing, admitting you did something wrong, it opens you up to different feelings, ranging from disappointment, guilt, and even shame. Disappointment, fine, because this is something you said you'd never do, and now you've done it. Guilt, if you feel guilty about something that you did, it means that you're a good person. Because there's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt tells you that you're a good person that did something wrong, that you regret, you feel bad. While shame tells you that you're that bad person. Like there's no comeback from shame. Shame tells you are that bad person. Shame defines you, defines who you are by what you did. So while you're taking responsibility for whatever it is that you did, be ready that it's going to open you up to different types of negative feelings, but don't allow your guilt to turn to shame. Because I got I became so ashamed of myself that I couldn't look in front of a mirror. Like I love myself. I love my body. I like what I see whenever I stand in front of a mirror. There are times where I'm just naked, maybe maybe I'm preparing to take a shower or I just finished taking my bath and I'm just in front of a mirror and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, oh, damn girl, you look good. Look at that ass. Look at that boobs. I'm just like, but when I did this thing, I was filled with so much shame that I couldn't face myself. Like, I couldn't even look in front of a mirror. It was that bad. So, even when you decide to feel guilty, don't wallow in it for too long so you don't start to feel so ashamed. Like, shame tells you you're not just you didn't shame tells you didn't tell a lie. Shame tells you you're a liar, like you're a cheat, like this is who you are. It defines you by what you did. Like I said, self-forgiveness follows the same formula as forgiving someone else. So after taking responsibility for what you did, you need to apologize to yourself. Tell yourself that you're sorry for letting yourself down, because this is something you said you'd never do. So of course you're disappointed in yourself. You need to apologize to yourself. Look for a way to make amends. Meaning, if what you did, like if it affects other people or if there are other people involved, apologize to them, and if they forgive you, it makes it a bit easier for you to forgive yourself. And also, most importantly, you need to focus on renewal. Ask yourself why you did what you did and genuinely try to be a better person. Now, the whole point of this video is not really to say, oh, if you do this, you can forgive yourself. Because to be honest, I don't think there's a formula. I don't know what you did, I don't know what you're battling with, but me myself standing here telling you, oh, take responsibility, apologize to yourself, I've done all of that, and to be honest, I still don't feel better about myself. So the whole point of this video is not to tell you that, oh, if you do this you can forgive yourself, but the main reason I'm making this video is to let you know that you're not alone, and to tell you that I understand how you feel, just in case you watching this, there's something you did that you can't seem to forgive yourself, is that you know that you're not alone. Like, I feel the same way. That this is one of the things that I plan to achieve with my channel, to not make people feel alone. If there's something you're going through, chances are I've gone through it too, or I'm going through it. So if you're battling with self-forgiveness, I want you to know that you're not alone. And I want you to know that you're not what you did. You made a mistake, you made a wrong decision. And instead of letting this thing define you, give you a name or a title that is not yours, I want you to learn from the experience. Ask yourself why you did what you did, and for me, there are two things that I've done in my life that I have so much regret for. Like, those are the two things that I can't seem to forgive myself. Don't want you to feel alone. I want you to know that I understand, and I want to tell you that you're not a terrible person. Whatever name the devil is trying to call you, that is not who you are. You are human. You made a mistake. You made a mistake. You realize what you've done, and you're never going to do it again, and that is all that matters. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I had so much fun filming this, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm begging you, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I can't wait to see you next week, and I love you so much, and bye.